The sole purpose of this video is to provide a basic overview and orientation of your new apparatus. This video is not intended to act as or replace individualized driver-operator training. Individual fire departments may base guidelines, policies, and procedures tailored for best practices. Pierce Manufacturing and Hughes Fire Equipment representatives are not liable for injuries caused from acts resulting from actions inconsistent with the information provided within this video and/or accompanying manuals. Refer to the Operation and Maintenance Manual for complete details relating to the components and features of this apparatus. Only trained personnel should operate this vehicle or perform maintenance. You are responsible for learning how to operate this fire apparatus under all conditions without having to refer to the manual while operating at an emergency incident. This video will discuss types of warnings and caution labels. It is your responsibility to locate and identify each of the labels and understand the importance and associated hazards. Warning labels will point out procedure that must be taken or action that must be avoided to guard against the possibility of serious injury or death. Caution labels will advise you that there is a risk of damage to property if certain precautions are not followed. Continuous training, reviewing of operation and service manuals, developing good standardized practices will assist driver operators with a more complete understanding of the components and operation of this fire apparatus. As the driver operator of this vehicle, you are responsible for understanding the function of each component of the apparatus, maintaining control of the fire apparatus at all times while in operation, make operational and functional changes while operating at an emergency without having to read operator's instructions or safety warning labels, operate manual override and emergency shutdown procedures immediately if a component fails to operate properly. Components location may vary with each Pierce fire apparatus. Review the exact location of each component prior to operation. Major inconsistencies between your vehicle and the information contained in this video should be directed to your sales representative. Safe operation of any vehicle is the responsibility of the driver operator. You must learn the location and function of all controls, switches, gauges, valves, inlets, and discharges. Due to a higher center of gravity, heavy trucks have a significantly higher rollover tendency than other types of vehicles. To reduce the risk of rollover, avoid making sharp turns, excessive speed, and avoid abrupt maneuvers. In the event of a rollover crash, an unbelted person is significantly more likely to become injured or die than a person wearing a seatbelt. In the event of a crash, unbuckled occupants can also become a hazard to other occupants, as they may be thrown around inside the cab. Seatbelts are required while in operation. Please refer to your warranty certificates for details and information enclosed in your manuals. Customer-installed equipment must be mounted to withstand road travel and comply with NFPA 1901. Modifications such as drilling holes or welding to structural frame components of the chassis are not permitted. Contact Pierce for instruction and review of non-structural sheet metal or other dissimilar metals for modification. Follow the radio installation guide for further assistance on installing or mounting electronics. Before placing your new apparatus into service, perform a primary inspection of key components of the apparatus, including all fluid levels, anti-lock braking systems, electronic stability control, and automatic traction control. Weigh your apparatus to ensure that it conforms to axle and brake ratings. Never exceed the gross axle rating printed on the label inside the cab. Exceeding these ratings could lead to reduced component life, personal injury, or death. Review the use of auxiliary braking systems, compression brake, exhaust brake, electronic retarder, and hydraulic retarder. Before placing the apparatus in service, refer to the operational maintenance manuals. Information on the operation and maintenance functions for the components such as the pump, pressure governor, and foam systems, along with other options, is provided in either the Pierce manuals and/or other manufacturer support information delivered with the apparatus. If you need more information, please contact Hughes Fire Equipment. Congratulations, North Highline Fire District, Washington, on your new fire apparatus, job number 32880. Please utilize this 5-digit job number when referencing your apparatus with Hughes Fire Equipment and Pierce Manufacturing. We'll get started on a brief orientation of your new apparatus. Let's start on the passenger and driver side face of the front bumper. You'll find your electronic siren and PA speaker system. Just inward of that location, you'll find dual air horns. Located directly in the center on the front bumper, you'll find your mechanical siren and also your engine 18 designator. As we move up onto the body, you'll find an emergency warning light just underneath the headlight structure. On the outer edge of the headlight structure, you'll find a marker light and also a turn indicator, and then your headlight structure consisting of low and high beams. Up from that, you'll find emergency warning light cluster and 2 grab handles on the right and left side of the front of the vehicle. As we move to the seamless one-piece windshield, you'll find 3 windshield wipers across this area, in addition with a convex and flat mirror on the right and left side. Moving up to the brow of the vehicle, you'll find 5 running lights, and then further mounted on the very top, you'll find a forward-facing LED floodlight. Moving further up onto the roof of the apparatus, you'll find your emergency warning light bar. Located in the center of that light bar, you'll find your Opticom. On the outer edges, passenger and driver side, you'll find your spotlight, which is the go light controlled from within inside the cab. Let's take a look at some close-ups of the things that we just talked about. First, starting at the front bumper. This is your mechanical siren and air horn and electronic siren. You can see the headlight cluster in addition with the turn and marker lights. On the side of the vehicle, you'll find a shoreline inlet. This is a 20 amp auto eject plug. When connected to shoreline power, this will activate your battery charging system. All the way to the rear of the apparatus, you'll find a smaller compartment down at the rear of the back wall. Also underneath this area, you'll find the foam pump discharge drain and foam pump intake drain. Let's move to the pump panel now. We'll start in the upper left-hand corner, first starting with your Husky foam system specifications and instructions. We'll identify some warning labels here. This is an entanglement warning hazard for those hoses are coming aloft. You also have a warning label here not to ride on the side of your apparatus for fall protection, and also a pressurized hazard regarding pressurized caps and the associated hazards while removing a pressurized cap. Also, only trained personnel should operate this equipment after training and also the use of the owner's manual. Down at the last portion is a foam mix for foam failure. Do not mix your foam consistencies, types, or brand. We're back up to the top. This is your in control throttle pressure governor. At the very top, you'll find a pump discharge and pump intake digital readout. Located in the center, you'll find a menu display. And on the left and right, just below in the same section, you'll find either the option of pressure mode or throttle mode, which is your RPMs. Directly in the center, you'll find a throttle ready green indicator. Once again, to the right, you'll find the RPM or throttle mode option. As we move further down, you'll find the idle button in red, and then a preset button in green. You'll find increase and decrease engine speed or RPMs, depending on what mode you're in. And then as we move to the upper right-hand corner, you'll find your RPMs or tachometer, which is a digital readout. You'll also find just beneath that 2 buttons, one a silence button indicating to silence the audible alarm, and then also a menu button which will allow you to scroll through the various menu functions. You also have a check engine. If illuminated, it would be in the yellow color. And then to the right, you'll find a stop engine. If illuminated, it would be red. Just beneath that, you'll find all of your engine diagnostic engine information. Let's move just to the right where you'll find your panel light switch. Just beneath that, you'll find an indicator that your pump is properly engaged if illuminated. Driver's cab scene lights, officer cab scene lights, and hosebed lights.
Back up to the top, we'll find front floods, driver pole light, officer pole light, driver side body scene, officer body scene, air horn, and red lights compartments. Let's move just under the in control. This is going to be the audible alarm. Around the outer edge of the bezel is the ability to dampen that volume. You're also going to find your recirculating line. These are twist, not pull. And then to the right, you'll find your engine cooler. Same thing, twist, not a pull. Moving to the right, we're going to find your Husky foam system module. This is the control module for your Husky foam system. And then further to the right in red, you'll find the foam level indicator from refill to full. Moving further to the right, you're going to find your tank fill lever, difficult to see in this image. And then just beneath that, you'll find your water tank level indicator, indication full, 3/4, half, quarter to refill. You also have a plug-in location for your intercom system. Just beneath that, you're going to find the fire pump primer. There is some indications here that you should be at least 1,000 RPMs before engaging. Down at the very bottom, we're going to find our tank to pump, and then just beneath that, we're going to find our pump shift. Let's also move further down where you'll find the main pump drain. As we look to the left, we're going to find all of our discharge levers. These are all color-coded individually, and they are also labeled. For example, driver's side number 1 crosslay water and foam is green in color. As we move down, you'll find 3 electronic valves: large diameter discharge on the passenger side, deluge discharge, and large diameter rear discharge. Also, you'll find the air outlet and air supply valves. And we'll talk about your minimum maintenance operation schedule in just a few moments. That's what this placard is labeled. To the right, you'll find your large diameter pump intake. Moving down, this is that Husky foam system. You can see there's an on and off, increase, decrease, prime, and also instructions on the label. Down in the lower left-hand side, you'll find your driver's side auxiliary inlet. This is a female 2.5-inch inlet. And then you'll find all your associated discharges for your drains, color-coded and labeled. To the right, you'll find a Watcherus placard. This is indicating the type of pump that you have and also serial number. Here's a close-up of the air outlet and air supply. As we move to the right, this is your Watcherus pump, capacity of 1500 GPM. This is your minimum operation maintenance schedule at 150, 200, and 250 PSI. The GPM is listed on the left-hand side along with your tachometer or RPM speed on the right-hand side. This also does have your 32880-01 job number. As we look inside the first pan door in the lower right corner of your pump, you'll find the yellow handle coincides with the instructions on the left for foam fill operations. In the very back, you'll find your foam drain, which is a twist. You will find at the very top the pump intake. This is the master pump intake gauge, also vacuum and pressure test gauge ports, and then your master pump discharge. Let's continue with a few of the compartments here. As you can see, you have LED lighting inside the compartments, dry deck material, adjustable shelves, and also pull-out shelves. In the upper left-hand corner of this image is a 12-volt access point, also a Shoreline outlet, which is a 20-amp plug. When plugged into shore power, that will be activated. Moving just in front of the rear tires, you'll find bottle storage location. Mid-location, you're going to find an adjustable shelf, LED lighting, and dry deck material in this compartment. As we move down, bottle storage, ultra low sulfur diesel, silver cap, and the blue cap is your DEF. To the next compartment, we'll find additional 12-volt access blocks located here. Moving further back, you'll find an additional Shoreline outlet. This is a 20-amp outlet power. When plugged into shore power, once again, it will activate. On the side of the vehicle, you have emergency warning lights along with side scene lights. Let's move now to the rear of the apparatus. Down at the very lower section, we'll talk about the cluster, which houses the brake, turn, reverse, and emergency warning lights. Just up from that, you'll find 3 round cupped style switches. I've got a close-up of those, and we'll identify those switches next. Moving up from this location, you'll find an emergency warning light and also sign scene light. And at the very top, you'll find your reverse or backup camera located at the very extreme top of the apparatus. There are 3 fold-down steps on the rear of the apparatus so that you can gain access to the top of the vehicle. You also have 2 discharge ports here. These are 2.5-inch discharges. Moving just inside of that location, a few warning labels, pressurized caps, associated hazards while removing caps that are under pressure, and then also do not ride on the rear of the apparatus is what this warning label is. You do have a traffic advisor located directly in the center, and underneath that traffic advisor you'll find an entanglement warning hazard label. Regarding those hoses coming off from above, there could be possibility of entanglement. And once again, do not ride on the back of your apparatus. That's a warning label for that. You do have a large diameter discharge located on the passenger side rear. As we move up to the very top, you'll find all of your hose bed dividers, in addition with storage on the right and large diameter hose above that. As we also look to the rear of the apparatus, you have 2 emergency lights on the very top section. Just inward of that location, you'll find 2 scene lights. Let's take a look at some of the close-ups that we just talked about. First, this is the rear compartment with dry deck at the very bottom and also a pull-out style shelf, the release mechanism on the right. Here are those 2 discharges, 2.5-inch. Moving to the far right-hand side of the image, your large diameter rear discharge. Moving upward from this location, you'll find your hose bed, in addition with on the right-hand side a storage compartment. General view here of the rear of the apparatus will now move around to the passenger side. As we start in the passenger rear compartment, you'll find adjustable shelves and also 12-volt and additionally 110 access when plugged into shore power. Currently, this is the 110 access blocks. To the right, you'll find the Shoreline outlet, once again 20 amp. Let's move just over the rear tire, where you're going to find bottle storage for SCBA and also oxygen bottles. Moving to the front of the rear wheel, you'll find SCBA and also the possibility of oxygen bottle storage, in addition with retaining straps. We're just over the rear wheel. This is a tool board. The D handle allows you to open that tool board to swing open. The hinge side does have a locking mechanism. If you want to restore it, the lock is just inside. Down at the very bottom, difficult to see in this image. Be cautious as to where you park your vehicle. Extremely hot diesel exhaust. That's a warning label for that. As we look into this compartment, you'll find Shoreline outlets, 20 amp. Once again, when plugged into shore power, those will be active. We're now midship, and we're going to talk about some warning labels. This is a fall hazard warning label. You also have a combination of caution and danger located on your cab lift. As we move all the way to the bottom section, you'll find a pressurized hazard. This is once again when we're removing caps that may be under pressure, there is some significant hazard. Up to the right-hand side of the image, you'll find an entanglement hazard. This is a warning label. And as we move to the very top, you'll find your reel rewind. This is a switch in addition with a light. As we mentioned earlier, this is your cab lift protected switch and an activate switch. Moving to the right, we have a few switches here controlling your pole lights, and we'll talk a little bit about those with the close-up. I do have 3 pan doors located on this side of the pump panel. We'll talk about what's behind those doors in the next set of images. There are 2 2.5-inch discharges, color-coded and also labeled. In addition, with 2 cross lays, these are the pre-connected hoses that go into your cross lay compartments. Down at the very bottom, you'll find a large diameter pump intake, and all the way to the right side of the image, you're going to find a large diameter discharge. This is the green passenger side discharge. Let's go ahead and move back all the way up to the very top where we saw the light and also the reel rewind. That is the switch located just where the light is located. We'll move just slightly to the right. We'll find 2 more switches, your officer side scene lights and the officer pole light. Moving down to the cab lift, this is a protected switch for the raise and lower and also an activate switch. Please read the instructions prior to operation. On the powered equipment rack, there is some danger label here regarding staying clear of the area while in use. You have a master on and off switch, which indicates the light, indicating it's on, and also a lift up or down. There is instructions for raising and lower within this placard. As we move to the next category, this is the equipment rack hydraulic reservoir. Just down at the very bottom is the white container. Close up here of the officer side auxiliary female 2.5-inch. As we look to the very bottom, you'll find all your associated color-coded and labeled drains. This is just inside the pan door. This is the relief valve, difficult to see in this image, but that's what's behind this pan door. As we look to the very top, your booster line, and also to the right, you'll find your pre-connects. Let's move back down to the cab of the apparatus where we have a smaller compartment door just to the rear of the apparatus. And then we'll move just between the rear door and the front door. You'll find access here, LED lighting and adjustable shelving. At all points of entry to the cab, you'll find warning labels here for your convenience. And you'll also find compartment lights, which are switched just on the exterior of the compartment for each compartment. Down on the floorboard, you'll find 2 LED work lights and also shoreline outlets. We're now to the officer's area, once again a point of entry, so we have those warning labels on the door. Your vehicle also has grab handles here to assist firefighters in and out of the cab for ease and safety. As we move up from that location, this is the fill location for your windshield wiper fluid reservoir. Your vehicle is equipped with a SRS supplemental restraint system, an airbag. This area should not be blocked when mounting any equipment. Let's move on to the door panel. You can see you have storage locations in addition with grab handle, lock, and window controls. This is your fill location for your windshield wiper fluid. Let's move to the dash now. On the left-hand side, you'll find 12-volt barrel style and also 12-volt access USB style. As we move overhead of this officer seat, you'll find this informational placard, height 10 feet 4 inches, your length 29 feet 8 inches, and a gross vehicle weight rating of 46,000 pounds. If you make any changes to your apparatus, please update this placard. Let's move now to the left-hand side above the officer's head where you'll find a digital readout for your speedometer. And then moving further to the left over the officer head, you'll find a Panasonic weather band radio. Further to the left over the officer's area, you're going to find officer cab scene, officer body scene, a future switch location, momentary opticom switch. The next level contains the front flood master, front flood spot, front flood narrow, or front flood wide. As we move back to the dash, you'll find over the light bar, this is your go light, the individual controlled spotlight. Let's now move to the driver's area, once again a point of entry, so we have these warning labels available, in addition with a grab handle for access for ease of firefighters getting in and out of the cab. Let's move and we'll talk a little bit about this just under your air ride seat, but let's go ahead and cover those items. First, starting with the engine heater, you'll find a red indicator once the switch is activated. To the right, you have an air inlet, which will maintain air pressure in your brake system. And then you have an auto charge. When plugged into shore power, this will activate to maintain battery maintenance. You also have a manufactured by Pierce placard, date of manufactured indicating March of 2019 with the job number. This also has cold tire inflation, gross vehicle weight ratings, the VIN number, in addition with fluid capacities for the components and fluid types. Let's move to about the left knee, which is the master battery switch for your apparatus. It's the silver switch. To the right, we'll find your tech module. In the green, which is your engine, transmission, ABS diagnostic port. As we move further down, you'll find 4 switches. These are going to be ABS diagnostics, DPF regen, engine diagnostics, and also regen inhibit. To the far right is your display module. Let's move just up slightly from this location on the left-hand side. We're going to find a mirror heat, mechanical siren horn ring. You'll also find perimeter lighting and a load manager. As you can see, the perimeter lights and load manager are engaged. That's why they're lit with the light ring. As we move to the right, you're going to find your pump shift. You're required to have pump engaged and OK to pump prior to exiting the cab for successful pump operations. You do have instructions from road to pump and from pump to road. Moving just up from that pump shift, you'll find the flat mirror and convex mirror controls. As we move to the left-hand side of the dash, you'll find your ignition switch and start switch. Just to the right, you'll find an EM switch, which stands for Emergency Master, controlling all of your emergency lights. And to the right, headlight, park lights, and then you have a panel switch, which controls bright and dim of the panel. As we look to the opposite side, right-hand side, you'll find your OK to engage the high idle. Back to the dash, on the left we have the transmission oil, DEF, and water temperature. Located in the center is the tachometer and speedometer. Moving further to the right, you have the volts, fuel level, front and rear air, and then there is diagnostic information displayed above and below the speedometer. As we move to the right of the steering wheel, we'll find a set of switches for engine brake on-off, settings low, medium, and high, all-wheel lock, air dump valve, tire chains, and off-road traction. You do have a system parking brake, pull to apply and push to release, and also an Allison transmission pad. This is a digital readout for your transmission pad with an indication to pump in drive. This is your Pierce command zone. As you can see, a tremendous amount of information right here at your fingertips. Please see your owner's manual for more information. To the right of that is your windshield wiper control and also push to apply washer fluid. As we move further to the right, you can access the climate control, which contains heat and AC, and also your defroster. Moving back to the center of the dash area, you'll find your Go light. This is the control module for the light over the driver's position. This is your unit dispatch radio at the very top. Just beneath that, you'll find your siren and also PA speaker system. Let's move further to the right. On the same module, you'll find the mechanical siren push button, and then also just beneath that, a siren brake for that mechanical siren. Let's go overhead of the operator. We'll start first with your emergency master, roof light, front warning, side warning, lower rear warning, upper rear warning, opticom, and the red switch is a siren brake. That's for your mechanical siren. Moving further to the right, we're going to find the driver's side cab scene, driver's side body scene lights, officer body scene, rear scene lights. We have front flood master, and then we have the options for spot, narrow, or wide. Let's move further to the right. We'll find an additional module. This is going to be your traffic advisor, and then all the way to the right, you do have a digital clock. Moving to the right once again, you'll find the two pulls for your air horns and also the Sigtronic intercom system control module. Overhead, push on and off white and red lights in addition with stereo speakers. The vehicle is equipped with a rear-facing SCBA seat. You do have a Shoreline outlet 20 amp located just underneath that seat. And then also you have mounted box lights located on the very rear wall of the cab. As we look inside, you can see the SCBA seat on the right side in a compartment on the right side with adjustable shelving. There is a USB port for 12-volt access right near the seat location. Just underneath the step, you'll find additional compartment storage. This is going to be above on the rear section of the engine. This is the compartment storage accessed from the rear. In that compartment underneath there, you'll find the 12-volt battery maintainer. When plugged into shore power, that will be activated. You do have transmission and oil daily checks access. As we move to the rear section behind the operator seat, you'll find 12-volt access blocks. In addition, with an audible speaker, you do have at the very top part of your Motorola control module, and then also down at the very bottom, your Sierra wireless system. Moving over to the opposite side, this is the passenger side. You have 12-volt access in addition with shore power. Your vehicle is equipped also with a headset system and also plenty of storage over the top of that seat. Back up onto the dunnage area, you'll find this access point indicating that the real rewind for manual, and just beneath that a tensioning knob. You also find your extend-a-gun for your master stream device located directly in the center. You'll also find your hydraulic system. This is the oil reservoir for your hydraulic system. As we look onto the top of the cab, you'll find these two warning labels. This is not a walking surface. Be cautious if you choose to walk in that area. It is not advised. In the dunnage, you'll also find your water fill location, and then also in the vicinity of the water fill, you'll find your foam fill for Class A foam. Congratulations, North Highline Fire District, Washington, on your new fire apparatus, job number 32880. If you have any questions as to the content of this video or any future questions regarding your apparatus, please contact your Hughes Fire sales representative. Thank you and congratulations.